I'm Judith Josephs, and this is History of Success. We are focusing today on leadership. We have 4 guests and the 13 Hall of Fame recipients. All of their pictures will be shown. The 4 guests are Dan Caulfield, Ed Marson, Sean Martin, Nicole McLean, Rick Starboard, and Jim Ridley are all either on Zoom or in person. Today, History of Success shines a light on 13 Hall of Fame recipients. The light is shined on their business success, their educational background, sports, most importantly, service to our country. A good percentage of the recipients have very strong service, military service to our country. Politics, healthcare work, very important in today's world, and philanthropy. There are currently 114 photos in the Hall of Fame foyer, the entrance at Lynn Tech High School's main building. We shall be adding 13 more photos on the board after May 2nd at Spinelli's, when 13 more recipients will be added to the Hall of Fame. The total number of pictures will then be 127 photos depicting leadership in their fields. There will be an introduction now of 4 machine shop alumni from the old Lynn Trade School, and 4 awards will be given to Lynn Tech graduates on June 4th. They will be given to advanced manufacturing, and they're given because of the work that these 4 machine shop people from Lynn Trade High School, they have worked with me in establishing both the Lynn Tech Alumni Association and the Hall of Fame. The first, in memory of Otto Moulton's owner, Fairview Machine. His children are running Fairview Machine today. In memory of Ron Beckett, the Ron Beckett Agency. In honor of Ron Noel, Tool Technology, and I believe his children are running Tool Technology, and in honor of Michael Alaconis, the manager of Essex Engineering. His son is production manager at Essex Engineering. Please listen to the video that we're going to now put on.
I'd like to start by saying that Judy is a founding member of the Lynn Vocational Technical Alumni Association. Also was part of the group who formed the Alumni Hall of Fame. She is currently still on the board of directors of the Alumni Association. Judy, through the years, has been our legal eyes and ears and has worked tirelessly on many of the Hall of Fame selection committees and other board business. On behalf of all the past and present members of the Board of Directors, I'd like to at this time thank Judy from the bottom of our hearts for all she has done for the boards.
She worked tirelessly for the Alumni Association. She was one of the founding members of the Hall of Fame. She is involved with everything, and she has LVTI tattooed on her chest, I know. And we have the Alumni Association. We got her a little gift. It's a wooden book, actually. No. And I think this sums up what we really want to say about you. It says, presented to Judy Josephs in recognition for outstanding dedication and untiring service to the Lynn Vocational Technical Institute and as a founding member of the Alumni Association and Hall of Fame. Your enthusiasm has always shone through. You made every student feel good
It's unbelievable that one person, and that's Judy, that could put so many children, our kids who now are all grown up and adults, out in the working field to make money on their senior year to help themselves and also their families.
And another form of leadership, we have at Lynn Tech right now, we have 26 teachers who are leaders and leading the youth of tomorrow in their workforce journey. They are Beth McCaldy, class of 79, Alyssa Howell, class of 2005, Mike Filer, 1995, Mike Pickering, 1997, Charles McDonald, 2018, Daniel Messina, 1979, Marcus Taylor, 2018, Dominic Codispati, 1993, Lisa Bellamar, 1993, Barry McCall, 1981, Juan Hernandez, 2012, Wendy Guevara, 2015, Marty Emerald, 1981, Michael Leone. I don't have Mike's class just yet, and I know I had Mike as a counseling student. Teresa Mastrio-Pierto, class of 2019, David Romanowski, 1985, Charlton Reyes, 2000, Danilisa Espinal, 2018, Rosemary, 1997, Gardner Parker, 1985, Richard Bucco, 1991, Jerome Anderson, 1991, Don Hussey, 1983, Ken Baudet, 1983, Adriana Torres, 2020, and Ariella Long, 2022. An amazing group of leaders are now teaching our future workforce. And we are looking at 21% Lynn Tech faculty, now alumni. And again, the money gained from the Hall of Fame event will be given to Lynn Tech students at the award ceremony June 4th. The following are 13 recipients for 2025 Hall of Fame. First, Dale Bennett, a retired engineer and executive vice president, Lockheed Martin Rotary and Mission Systems. He worked for 39 and a half years at Lockheed Martin, graduated South Carolina University, mechanical engineer, received a Master's of Science from Johns Hopkins and an MBA from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. 4 years active duty service, United States Air Force, South Carolina National Guard. Number 2, Dave Bryson, Secretary, Lynn Tech Alumni Association, Carpentry and History Certified Instructor, Lead Instructor and Curriculum Director for the Massachusetts Carpenters Apprentice Training Program, and instructed classes and developed curriculum. Louis Bird, outstanding basketball and football player, as well as referee and coach. Mr. Ridley, could you speak on behalf, a few words as a coach and former director of Lynn Tech High School? Are you with us? Mr. James Ridley, current principal, St. Mary's High School.
Yes, I am here. And
Hi,
first
Jim.
of all, I want to make a correction that I'm the assistant principal here at St. Mary's now, and I was fortunate enough to graduate, from the old Lynn trade in 1970, and I was fortunate enough to have the head football coach Mike Carr asked me to come back in 1982 to help coach, and so along with coaching football, I coached basketball. And in 1999, I was fortunate enough to go to Breed Middle School as the as a vice principal, and then in 2004, I went back to Lynn Tech to be the principal of Lynn Tech from 2008 to 2010. Lou Bird was a lot of years behind me, but I watched his career. He was a great basketball and football player. Lou Bird led the state in scoring, the whole state of Massachusetts. His senior year, he averaged 30-some points a game. Lou Bird scored in an amazing 1,000 points at Lynn Tech in 2 years before they had the 3-point line. So I was very fortunate enough, to watch Lou in his athletic career, but more importantly, years later, I watched Lou become a basketball official, and throughout the city of Lynn, he helped numerous youngsters grow into the love of sports because of his enthusiasm and because of his leadership. So again, I am so happy to see that Lou Bird has made the Hall of Fame, and unfortunately, he passed on, this past July 6th, this past June 6th, before he could actually see himself in. But there are going to be a slew of people who will be there on his behalf.
Just one other final question. Why is sports so important in the leadership for youth development?
I believe it's important because it shows you the value of teamwork, and all good leaders will tell you that they don't do it by themselves. It's all about the team. Good leaders, give the people that are under them, they point them in the right direction, and then they let them go and they let them flourish so that they can be a leader on their own.
Thank you so much, Jim Ridley. Appreciate. Okay, Dan Caulfield. Dan Caulfield, Chief Operations Officer for the Montana Veterans Administration Healthcare System, caring for 48,000 enrolled veterans, and the Area Emergency Manager for the Veterans Health Administration in Arizona. Dan, I'm looking forward to talking to you. You have an outstanding background on the lifelong leadership in the military. In the military, you have spent your entire life, and right now we have some amazing pictures, hopefully, that we're going to be able to get in of you and all of the background that you have been doing, both in Montana and in Arizona, and especially in the Veterans Health Administration in Arizona.
Tower, this is Flight 74 Lima 28 Charlie. We are on final approach. How copy? Over.
squash at 12:45, and it'll be right here in the central area. Thank you.
So, from a leadership standpoint, from leaving high school, I spent 26 years in the Air Force. And I think that's where you start getting your management leadership skills. The Air Force was great, instilling core values from integrity, service before self, and excellent in what you do. And from those parts, you get the foundations of, from basic training to leadership schools to academies. I was lucky to have multiple different positions. I became one of the youngest independent duty providers. So I worked 4 years in critical care and then went to independent duty school so I could see patients in far off regions. Did a lot of that work in Saudi Arabia, Singapore, and in South America. Became the chief medical officer in Singapore while I was there for 4 years. And then came back to Phoenix a couple of weeks before 9/11 happened. And so that got me into the emergency management side. So from there, I worked with Maricopa County post 9/11 and with the Department of Defense to integrate the Department of Defense with the county, city, and state. So from that point, I went on to work in healthcare, first as a surveyor in the state of Alaska for CMS. So I got certified in long-term care and dialysis and life safety code. And again, my experience with life safety code became great because of my background with the trades. Made things a lot easier to understand, looking at blueprints and those types of things. I left the state of Alaska and moved to the VA with multiple jobs in Tucson, in Texas, and then became the chief operating officer of the second in command for the Montana healthcare system, which was a great experience. Some of those highlights for me was, going on to get my fellow with the American College of Healthcare Executive, and then also going on to law school at the Sandra Day O'Connor School of Law at ASU and health law. So I've got a great opportunity to do multiple things. And just recently, as the area emergency manager, we work with the National Disaster Medical System, and I oversee Tucson and Phoenix. That the people remember just this year, the Hawaii fireworks incident, and 6 of those people, the critical ones, were actually put on a C-17 and flown to Phoenix. So I helped coordinate the arrival of that plane on a Saturday night, the 4th of January, successfully getting them from the aircraft to the burn center. So that's probably a big realm. Got a chance to fly medevac as well when I was in Germany for Desert Shield and Desert Storm. So opportunity has been there, and I've had an opportunity to take advantage of a lot of things and see the world as well.
That's quite a journey you have just taken us on, and it highlights Lynn Tech's alumni's service to our country, highlights it in every possible way. And thank you so much, Dan, for being part of this show today. We really appreciate having you. The next, and stay right with us, please, Brian D'Amico. Brian D'Amico is the Human Resources Director for Wayne Alarm Systems, one of the major companies, security companies here in the city of Lynn. He has a bachelor's and master's degree in business administration, emphasizing human resource management from Salem State University, and he's enrolled currently in the doctoral program at Liberty University, and he will be receiving a letter from President Keenan celebrating this event, and his congratulations. Jay Holland. Jay is the Director of Fan and Entertainment for the Boston Red Sox. Bachelor of Science, Fisher College. He does a program at Fenway Park called Hats Off to Heroes, and 85% of those recognized served in the military and are recognized at Fenway Park, again, as heroes from the military. Jay has a radio show called The Ray Royale Experience. Also, he works closely with Berkeley Urban Service Awards, giving an opportunity for young people to perform music at Fenway Park. He also achieved the most championships Fisher College and is an independent film actor, a songwriter, and LVTI graduation speaker. Jovan J. Holland. Ed Marson, Edward Allen Marson, Ed from Washington State. Ed has had significant and vast military service. He is Chief Warrant Officer CW5 with the military. Again, a lifetime of service. Ed, tell us about your journey.
Oh my goodness, it's pretty. I want to make sure I'm unmuted. Forgive me. Well, actually, it's pretty hard to kind of assemble 60 years of service around the world in the country in a few short minutes. But the simple story is I've just basically spent all of those years as a boots on the ground soldier. I started out as a private. My first tour in the Signal Corps. I did completed 3 years in Vietnam, 17 years traveling around the world, Southeast Asia, the Pacific. Spent most of my time teaching and training as best as I could. Following the leadership. Leadership, you know, begins at the earliest stages, and a lot of times we don't even recognize it for what it is. As a private, I did things without knowing it was a leadership issue. When I did things without direction, without instructions, without guidance or supervision, and that's when I began my leadership journey, as it were. I don't believe there are any born leaders. I think leadership is an art. I think it's a learned ability, and it's a never-ending process. And basically what I did was spend my 20 years in the Army just trying to make things better than they were or improve things as they went. And one of the basic fundamental responsibilities of a leader, I think, is to help create future leaders. And one of the interesting things I think is kind of unique when someone can recognize the leadership ability in other people and help them develop that and help them move on and become better leaders themselves. Following my 20 years in the Army, I joined the Washington State Guard, and I've been with them for 24 years, serving in conjunction with the National Guard and most state agencies, coordinating through most national disasters. Washington is kind of unique in the fact that we probably third in the nation for natural disasters between floods, ice storms, snowstorms, volcanoes, and earthquakes. We stay pretty busy out here. It's hard for me to try and talk about all of these as accomplishments. I don't normally talk about myself. Of course, the people that I've trained, they can probably tell you a different story about how much I can talk, but talking about myself is a different issue. But I've deployed in 28 state emergencies and worked with all state and federal agencies, a tribal liaison. Oh my goodness, I'm getting tongue-tied here because it's just too much, too confusing. But anyway, basically it's about service. And my life has been about service to my country, service to my family, service to the people in my community. And all of those experiences, 46 schools, 16 countries, 44 years, that's what it's been about. I'm not really sure how else to explain that.
I think you've done a pretty fantastic job, and we thank you so much again for this tremendous service to our country. Tremendous, tremendous service to our country. Thank you again. All right. Sean Martin, I hope we have you there on Zoom. Sean, a business owner for Martin Electrical Services, journeyman electrician, lieutenant fire department, Navy Hospital Corps, corrections officer, all of that. But tell us about yourself, your accomplishments, your journey, Sean.
Hello, everyone. So I'm a graduate 1992 from Lynn Tech, the electrical program, which went incredible. I stayed in the trade, and it's paid dividends for me and my family. Following high school, I needed a little more direction with my life, so I decided to enlist in the Navy. Didn't know what I wanted to do. They offered me a job as a hospital corpsman, which is a medic, and it was probably one of the best choices I ever made. It set me on a path to meet people, leaders, as others have spoken about here, that influenced my life tremendously. I recently reconnected with a Master Chief that I served under, who probably set the framework for the direction I went with my life. An incredible leader, inspirational, taught us attention to detail and commitment to your craft. And that has translated throughout my life, my work life, and my personal life. Following the military, was honorably discharged after serving. My last post was on a destroyer out of Pearl Harbor, which was incredible. I came home, wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, so I took a bunch of civil service tests, landed with the Massachusetts Department of Corrections as a correction officer. I spent a little over 8 years at MCI Cedar Junction, also known as Walpole State Prison. I worked there for quite a while. And then throughout that, I tried to stay in the electrical field, working 3 to 11 at the prison, and then going to work for electric companies from 6 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, and going right to the prison to work. So that paid off well. And then I took the fire department test several times, and I was, as they say, I won the lottery. I got my dream job. Got on the fire department in 2004. Again, came across some incredible leaders there that helped me become a pretty good fireman, learn the job. More importantly, one of the best guys I ever worked for gave me a piece of advice to remain a student to the job. Never think you know it all, continue to learn. Pick quality people to learn from, to model yourself after. And so that's what I did. And then I met my wife, my late wife, Kelly, who also showed me what leadership looks like. She was the CEO of Bridgewell. So I kind of followed her footsteps. She convinced me to go to college. I got my bachelor's. And then she said, well, why don't you keep going? So I went and got my MPA, Master's in Public Administration. And there, again, I find some more people to model myself after, leadership qualities. And so I graduated with that. And then I became a lieutenant with the fire department in 2013. And I took all the pieces of leadership that I found throughout my career, and I tried to model those and become a good leader, lead from the front type person, but also pass on the qualities I learned to other younger firefighters so that they can have a chance later on in their careers to step up to the plate and, lead from the front. That's pretty much been my life. And then I've kept working for electric companies, various companies throughout the years. And then I decided to open my own on the advice of my son, Colin. And it's been the greatest choice I ever made. I didn't look back. I just kept going, and then decided to get my master's license so I could grow my company and bring my son back to work for me. And then hopefully one day pass it along to him and let him have his shot at it. And hopefully he can make something big out of it and live a rewarding, fun-filled life. That's my goal with them. That's, as Ed said, it's tough to talk about yourself, but, it's been a pretty fun journey. It's been adventurous, to say the least, to end up where I am today. And that's all I got.
Well, I think that's a pretty amazing journey in a variety of different places, and I think that says a lot about you, Sean, and thank you so much. Really appreciate sharing your background, and especially for students who are in the electrical program now, for all that you have done. Okay, we're on to the next person, and I know we took Sean right out of a job that he was working on, so I thank you especially for that. Nicole McLean, a current counselor at large. Nicole has, from Ashford University, a Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood, and recently a master's degree from Boston College. She's a veteran, 2 times service in Iraq, and promoted to sergeant, nationally recognized as a leader of service military people and service military in general, and the Army National Guard. Nicole, tell us about yourself, because I am a fan of yours.
Hi, Judy. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate you squeezing me in. I'm happy to be here today. So a little bit about myself. I'm a mom. I am a grandmother newly, and proud resident of Lynn. I was born here, raised here, clearly went to Lynn Tech. I started my military journey when I was 17 years old. I went to the armory right there on the Common and learned a little bit from Sergeant Coop, who was there at the time, my recruiter, who told me a little bit about the military and told me, that I could go to college at a decreased amount, and I could probably do a lot of things and see the world a little bit. I wasn't expecting to be going to Iraq twice. National Guard for me meant that I would be home and I'd probably, go 2 weeks, and the way that he explained it, so I didn't think that I was ever going to actually leave America. But once the 2 towers were hit in New York, when I saw that, I knew immediately that I was going to be activated, and I was in support of that effort. So I had to leave my son behind with my mom. My son was 4 at the time, 3 or 4. And my mom took care of him for that first deployment. We were extended. So I was in Iraq for 18 months, a little bit over a year, away from my family and my son. His father also helped out. So that first deployment was pretty rough. And while I was out there, my first deployment, I started going to Ashford University online. So I took a couple of online classes while I was, serving our country in Iraq. So that was great that I was able to do that, and get some of those benefits that the military promised that I would have. So I got some of that coursework done while I was out there. When I got home, I completed my coursework. I actually graduated from Lynn Tech in '98 with a cosmetology license. So before going off to Iraq in 2004, I worked as a cosmetologist all the way up into 2004. So when I was away, I thought that I would come back and start a business and be a cosmetologist. But for whatever reason, I just didn't want to do cosmetology anymore once I got home. So I collected unemployment for a little while, spent a lot of time with my son, just being with him every day and teaching him and how to write his name, how to identify shapes, colors, numbers. And that's when I realized I really enjoyed that kind of work. So I decided to complete my studies at Ashford University, but with a bachelor's degree in early education administration, because my goal now was to become an early educator. So I did that. I became an early educator. I worked at the Lynn YMCA. I worked for Leo Head Start. I worked for Catholic Charities a little bit. And then finally I moved on to Bright Horizons in Cambridge. And after that, I decided that I wanted to start my own early education center out of my home. So I started an early education center. In that time, with working at Bright Horizons, I was deployed again to Iraq for my second term, my second deployment. So when I got back home, we were deployed almost immediately again to Afghanistan. And that's when I said, okay, I cannot go. I have to stay with my son. He was almost a teen at that time, so I didn't want to leave him again for the third time. So I stayed home and started my business. We were in business for about 6 years before closing that home child care service. And while that child care service was closed, I started North Shore Juneteenth Association, which is a nonprofit organization that shares positive images of Black American culture with the community. We just had a very successful 5K over the weekend with 137 runners and 240 people registered. So that nonprofit has been up and running for 8 years. And I recently completed my master's degree at Boston College in Educational Leadership and Policy. So I'm very proud of that.
I am so proud of that too.
And out of my work with North Shore Juneteenth Association came the political aspect of my life. I never wanted to be a politician. It was nothing that was on my radar, but during 2020, I kind of got, with the disparities that we were seeing with COVID and everything, I kind of got the bug, I guess, of wanting to speak up and talk more about the community I came from in Lynn and those experiences, and wanting to see people that came up the way I came up to be represented on a local political level. So that's almost all of the things that I do and have done. It's been a bumpy road, Judy.
That's quite a journey, though.
Almost every day.
Amazing journey.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nicole, and for being here. The next recipient, the next couple of them, or the next one in particular, healthcare. Healthcare in our time is a very important area. And Leanne McGinnis is not only did she receive her Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Salem State University, and she was a Rising Star winner at Salem State, but she went on to get her master's degree at Regis College as a nurse practitioner. She's employed as a provider at the Northeast Health Services, as well as a preceptor at the University of Massachusetts. Robert Merriman, and I understand from Rick Starboard that he's bringing 34 people with him to the Hall of Fame event at Spinelli's on May 2nd, and you'll hear shortly from Mr. Starboard about that event. Robert Merriman is CEO and president of RAM Electrical Consulting and Contracting Corporation. He is a master electrician and founder of Lights Out Shooting Gym, a basketball development program for the youth of Lynn. I like that combination, a strong business and a helping hand and a leader towards young people, helping to use sports as a way to keep them in really good youth development. Next, Andrea Pizzulo-Satterwhite. She serves today on the Lynn School Committee. She's a registered nurse and nurse practitioner with 4 children. She has a graduate degree from Regis College, an MSN in pediatric nursing as a nurse practitioner, Bachelor of Science from Salem State in nursing, and was a pandemic hero in telehealth, currently Middleton Family Medicine. Again, a pandemic hero in the field of healthcare, a leader. And we have Chris Hatzis Vavronis. Chris is an enrolled agent credentialed by the Internal Revenue Service, a tax expert, and president of Bean, Hatzis and Foltz Incorporated, a tax and accounting firm in Salem, and a graduate of Salem State University, which a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, won Salem State's Rising Star Award, does philanthropic work with nonprofits and elderly for providing tax services for them. And these are our 13 amazing leaders that are going to take place in the event at Spinelli's, and I turn it over to the treasurer of the Lynn Tech Alumni Association, and on the board of the original board of the Lynn Tech Alumni Association, Mr. Rick Starboard, the owner of Rick's Auto Collision, and again, the treasurer of the Lynn Tech Alumni Association, was a faculty member, a colleague of mine at Lynn Tech High School as well. Rick Starboard, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Judy. So we're looking forward to another great night. We've got, as everybody's heard, a great slate of inductees, and as we were talking earlier, probably our biggest group of inductees with military background. And I think that's great.
Service to their country, the biggest group.
Even, when I saw Nicole's resume, and I didn't even know, and I served with her on the city council for a short time, didn't know that she was a tech grad. And so as soon as I found that out, it's like, okay, Hall of Fame's coming up. So I think we've got a great group. I think it'll be a great night. Tickets are still available. Opportunities to purchase an ad are still available. My name and address is up there on the screen, or if anyone wants to call my shop in Revere, we accept Venmo, which makes things a lot easier. Venmo, email me, and or you can even swing by Share Magic and see one of our board members, Kathy Alaconis, has tickets there as well on Walnut Street. So we have tickets still available. We have ad space still available. Time is running out. Before you know it, it'll be May 2nd. And
couple of weeks, just 2 weeks to go.
Yep. So, so looking forward to it.
Okay. A reminder, also, Rick has reminded me, not only the Hall of Fame on May 2nd, but the dedication of the machine shop on May 12th. Ron Arthur Beckett Machine Shop is going to be named after him, and Mr. Beckett saved the elimination of that machine shop was on its way. When General Electric laid off so many people and many other manufacturing firms laid off so many people, the school committee at that time had said the machine shop has to go. And I was talking to another vocational school, and theirs went, and ours managed to stay because we had a fighter on our side, and that fighter was named Ron Beckett. And I'm fortunate because I had an opportunity to work with him a lot, because he was an important part of our beginnings, our start. And the 4 awards that I'm going to be given, we're hoping you're going to join me. The 4 awards, one of them is in memory of Ron Beckett and the wonderful work he did in saving the Alumni Association. Also, the award ceremony, Mr. Starbutt is in charge, treasurer, for any monies coming in on the awards program. We would really like more people to be part of that program. First, of course, by going to Spinelli's and buying a ticket, that will go to the awards program. And then secondly, possibly coming and being part of the program yourself by making an award, as I'm doing in memory of Ron Beckett and the other 3 machinists, Mr. Moulton, Mr. Noel, and Mr. Michael Alaconis. And finally, there's a golfing tournament, and I heard about it. Mr. Starbutt, tell us a little more about that.
Okay, so this will be, I believe, our 15th annual Lynn Tech Alumni Golf Tournament. It'll be held on Saturday, July 26th at Gannon Golf Club. And what's going to make it even more fun is there'll be 2 Lynn Tech events taking place at the same time up at Gannon. The class of 2000 will be hosting their 25th reunion. Makes me feel old because all those kids that graduated in 2000, I had my first year teaching in 1996 as freshmen. And it's just a great group, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great night. All the money raised from all of our events, whether it's the Hall of Fame, the golf tournament, everybody knows now the Festival of Trees that takes place in November, which really is now a family tradition that kicks off the holiday season in Lynn and surrounding communities. All the money that we raise in these events all goes back to helping the kids at Lynn Tech. We give $30,000+ a year away in scholarship and tool awards. Each awards night this year will be June 4th. And it's an annual event now that the Skills USA program, which is nationally recognized, goes away and participates in their nationals, typically in Atlanta, and we contribute to their travel expenses as well. Another great Lynn Tech program run by Jason McCush, who does an amazing job.
Absolutely. What do we need as part of the Lynn Tech Alumni Association? we need to have more people participate with us, more people to volunteer with us. This is an amazing, exciting leadership organization, and having more of our alumni as part of the program is an absolute necessity. We want to keep current. We want to have you join us. Is that not so, Mr. Starbuck?
Absolutely. We need a younger generation of leaders to come up. You know, some of us have I mean, I was pretty young when you asked me to get on the board back in 1990, but 35 years have passed. And,
exactly.
And you know, folks like Bach Conlin and just I could just go on and on. But we need people to come up behind us.
Let's give the current leadership of the Alumni Association. The president is Kelly Papagiorgio. The vice president is James Ward. The secretary is Dave Bryson, and he will be a recipient at the Hall of Fame. And the treasurer, Mr. Rick Starbird. That is our executive board leadership at the Lynn Tech Alumni Association. Thank you all for being part of this leadership program based on the Lynn Tech Alumni Association and the Lynn Tech Alumni Association Hall of Fame event, May 2nd. Don't forget to get your tickets. Come on, you're going to enjoy it. This is an amazing cast of people. Nicole, is it not?
Oh, I am so honored to be among such alumni. Just hearing the stories that I heard today, these are amazing people, and they all come from Lynn Tech, born and raised here. I mean, it's amazing to know how much talent and how much professionalism and how much service to country we have in our city. So very proud to be among the inductees.
And I'm awed every time we have a Hall of Fame. I'm truly awed to see the type of people that Lynn Tech has been able to produce. It is an amazing group of people. Take a look at that entire group. Just reading the list once again. Dale Bennett, Dave Bryson, let's just say very quickly, a mechanical engineer, Lockheed Martin, almost 40 years worked for Lockheed Martin. Dave Bryson, current executive board member of the Lynn Tech Alumni Association, doing both degrees in history as well as background in carpentry. Nice combination. Lou Bird, you heard from Jim Ridley. Outstanding, one of the top players in basketball and football as well. Coached kids, refereed, really proud of Louis Bird. And Dan Caulfield. All of his life, service to his country, all of the most important parts of his life. Actually, Chief Operation Officer for the Montana Veterans Administration Healthcare, caring for 48,000 enrolled veterans, and then going on to be Area Emergency Manager for the Veterans Health Administration in Arizona. Brian D'Amico, right here at Wayne Alarm, Human Resources Director for Wayne Alarm Systems, bachelor's, master's, and working on his doctorate. Jay Holland, Director of Fan and Entertainment for the Boston Red Sox. Was the outstanding championship coach for Fisher College, and is very, very proactive in so many areas, like his radio show, like an independent film actor, a songwriter, and an LVTI graduation speaker, gave tickets to all the seniors. A great, great contributor. Ed Marson's story, you heard it, significant and vast military experience. Ed wants me to say only that he is a Chief Warrant Officer in the military, title CW5, but a vast experience, lifetime of military service. And we thank both Ed and Dan for this lifetime of service. You heard from Sean Martin, a great background, a variety, not only the current owner of Martin Electrical Services and a journeyman electrician, but a great journey, a tremendous journey with the Lynn Fire Department, with the Navy Hospital Corps, with the corrections officer with the prison. An incredible journey. And you heard from Nicole, the current counselor at large. Can you imagine? She never even thought originally of running in politics. Just recently this summer, a master's degree from Boston College. A veteran, 2 times service in Iraq, twice going to Iraq. And again, very, very proud of her. Recognized leader in the military and with the Army National Guard. Leanne McGinnis. Again, these are our healthcare heroes, pandemic heroes. And she has a master's degree as a nurse practitioner and has just as also a provider at Northeast Health Services. But she's a preceptor at the University of Massachusetts and a proud Rising Star winner at Salem State. Bob Merriman, and again, he's bringing 34 people to the event. 34 people to the event at Spinelli's on May 2nd. Come along with them. He owns President and CEO, RAM Electrical Consulting and Contracting, and a master electrician, but a founder of Lights Out Shooting Gym, basketball development program for the youth of Lynn. Andrea Prezzulo Satterwhite, kind of a superwoman in her own right, has 4 children, serves on the Lynn School Committee, a registered nurse, a nurse practitioner, graduate degrees from Regis College as a Master of Science in Pediatrics, nurse practitioner, and a pandemic hero in telehealth, Middleton Family Service, Chris Hatsis-Varunas, an enrolled agent, and of course, today is just the day before taxes are due, is an enrolled agent credentialed by the Internal Revenue Service, a tax expert, and president of Bean, Hatsis & Fultz, Inc. Tax and Accounting Service in Salem, a graduate of Salem State, Bachelor of Science, Business Administration, SSU's Rising Star, does philanthropic work with a number of nonprofits and elderly by providing tax services. Please come and see this amazing group of people on May 2nd at Spinelli's. Spinelli's located Route 1, Mr. Starbutt. All you have to do is mail him that check.
Or get us on Venmo.